Welcome to W&L Sports Weekly. I'm Jeremy Franklin. This week we'll speak with wrestling captain Ron Tassoni and men's basketball captain Andrew Franz. But joining me now in the studio is women's basketball coach Clancy. Christine, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Last week the Generals got a great win over Eastern Mennonite. You had the tough loss to Lynchburg on Sunday.
Yep.
Coming up this week, Emory and Henry and Guilford, two of the other top teams in the ODAC. How important are those contests for your team?
I mean, honestly, at this point, we have 8 games left. They're all conference games. Every game is crucial. We want to finish in the top 4 so we don't have to play a play-in game in the tournament. We really need to find a way to come away with as many wins as we can in these last 8. And, these next 2 are huge for us because they're right ahead of us in the standings, both teams.
W&L isn't necessarily one of the tallest teams in the ODAC, and yet you're first in the conference in rebounding margin. What makes the Generals so effective on the glass?
Honestly, it's just a lot of grit and passion and desire, just going after the ball. I think we have a couple of the best rebounders in the conference in Paige Corvino, who's a great rebounder from the guard position. She comes out of nowhere to get her hand on the basketball. And if she doesn't come down with it, she tips it to someone else and creates extra possessions. And Shelby Hendricks is probably the best rebounder as an undersized post in the conference. She just has a desire to go get the ball. I mean, it's kind of amazing. You'll see her in there with, a numerous 6-footers around her, and she's the one who comes down with the ball. So those 2 definitely lead the way. And then Jackie Clifford has really improved her game in that aspect. She's done a really good job just using her pure athleticism to get up and get some rebounds for us. So.
We spoke last week with your assistant coach, Pamela Finley, about the play of the sophomore class. You've got a great quartet of seniors as well. What have those players meant to your program?
Yeah, those seniors are a really special group to me. In my head coaching career, they're the first class that I've coached for 4 years. So they'll always hold that special place in my heart as I look back on my coaching career. They're a special group. They got the opportunity to play a lot right when they came in as freshmen. All 4 of them have seen the floor a lot more than you would think. Even with Alina Hamrick has fought through a number of injuries, but she's found a way to stick with the program and just continue to work on her game and find ways to make an impact. Katie Wilds has been a great leader for our program. She brings a lot of the positive energy and a lot of the personality that we want our team to have. Shelby Hendricks, she's special. I mean, she's one of the brightest people I've ever had the privilege to be around and work with. She knows the game. She just understands and sees things on the court. I feel like we have another coach on the floor when she's playing. She just does a lot of little things for us. And then Paige Corvino, I mean, she really, as a player, embodies a lot of the grittiness and the values that I really look for in players with her competitiveness and just fire. She just finds a way to go out there and be a spark plug. She's not a traditional basketball player, but it doesn't matter. She's competitive and she wants to find a way to make plays happen and to make us better. So, all 4 of them are really special to me and what they've given to this program. And, we really want to make a run in these next 8 games and in the tournament. Not just for our program, but especially for those 4 seniors.
You just alluded to the ODAC tournament, which is coming up in just over 3 weeks. What needs to happen for the Generals to make that kind of run?
Yeah, I mean, probably the number one thing is we have to stay healthy. It's always battling injuries, always battling illnesses going around. So if we can stay healthy, that will give us our best shot for sure. We need to stay focused and play with a lot of urgency. Take on the pressure of being a top team and having a legitimate chance at winning a championship, but put that pressure on the team and not individuals. We play really well when we play together. I think that we're really hard to defend when we distribute the basketball and we have a balanced stat sheet at the end of the game and we can play a lot of people. So we just need to find ways to play together and make things happen as a team.
Christine, thanks for joining us. Best of luck with the rest of the year.
Great. Thanks, Jeremy.
Here with me in the studio is Andrew Franz, senior basketball captain from Charlotte. Andrew, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Entering Wednesday's game at Easter Mennonite, Washington and Lee is 10-6 overall. You're currently 3-4 in the ODAC. You've had some great wins this year. How can you build off that success as you approach the second half of the ODAC season?
Yeah, I think we definitely had a good start. I think one of the biggest things that have helped us kind of is consistency. We've kind of taken care of the games that we needed to take care of, which we've struggled with in the past, and this year so far, and I hope we can keep it up. We've kind of won the games we needed to win and then been competitive in the tougher games. So I think if we can continue to take care of business and then be competitive in those tough games and pull some of those out, we'll have a really good ending to the season.
You are one of the Generals' leading scorers for your first couple of seasons. You're currently 4th on the roster in points per game, but you're 2nd in the ODAC in assists. How have you enjoyed the transition back to a playmaker role?
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I guess in my first few years, I've kind of always tried to do what the team needed, and I think they needed some more scoring then. And since then, I've gotten some teammates that are really good at scoring and probably better than me at scoring. So I've kind of tried to back away from that and kind of gone back into that playmaker role, which I've kind of done the majority of my life. And I think that's what I enjoy the most and I'm the best at. So it's been really cool kind of being able to create for others and kind of be the quarterback for the team instead of the scorer, which I've really enjoyed.
Speaking of making plays, you're now 4th all-time at W&L in assist. You also joined the 1,000-point club this season. What do those milestones mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, I think they're cool. I think it's kind of a product of me having been able to play in a lot of games and stay healthy, play a lot of minutes, and kind of play within the system and play my role. And those two things just kind of came about with me listening to Hutch and my teammates passing me the ball and finishing plays. So I think it's just kind of more speaks to consistency of being able to be in those games and play a lot of minutes and kind of do what I need to do.
6 of the team's final 9 games are on the road. What are the keys to playing well away from home?
Yeah, I think focus is probably the biggest thing. We have to make sure we get off the bus focused and ready to play. It's sometimes easier here with the home crowd kind of to pick us up if we don't have our own energy, so we need to make sure we bring our own energy to those away games and take care of business on the road.
Andrew, thanks for joining us. Best of luck the rest of the year.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
With me now is Ron Tassoni, senior wrestling captain from Media, Pennsylvania. Ron, welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
At the Jim Kreitzer Invitational here in Lexington earlier this month, you set the career record for victories. What does that mark mean to you?
Well, it was a great record to set. I was very happy to set it, but of course, I really think it was just a result of all my hard work. I have goals in the postseason, and those goals require hard work, and with that, I am setting a few records, but it's just all results of my training.
In one of your recent Centennial Conference matches, you bumped up to wrestle at 197 instead of your usual 184-pound class. What are the benefits of competing at a larger weight bracket like that?
Right, so I was wrestling Merchant Marine. My Merchant Marine opponent at 184 was injured, so their backup guy was in. So I bumped up to wrestle their varsity 197-pounder, and he's a very good competitor. He's ranked nationally, so I wanted to test myself, and that's why I bumped up there. I did not win, but I benefited from having a tough match.
We spoke recently with Coach Shearer about hosting the NCAA East Regional in February. How exciting is it to have that event at home during your senior season?
It is a very awesome opportunity. I'm really glad that Coach Shearer pushed for it to be at home. There is a little pressure, but I just have to keep focused, and I'm really fortunate to only have to walk to my qualifier tournament.
W&L has struggled with depth in some of your dual meets this season, but you and several of your teammates are having great individual campaigns. With that in mind, what are your expectations for the Centennial Championships and for the regional?
Right, so we are an individual team. My coach likes to say we do well at tournaments because we have a lot of individual success. On that note, I think we're going to do great. We're training very hard into the postseason, and we can focus on individuals for those individual tournaments, and as a result, I think we'll do really well.
Ron, thanks for joining us. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you.
It's time now for a look at the upcoming weekend. The men's and women's track and field teams have 2 events. The Generals will head to Winston-Salem for the Camel City Invite at the JDL Fast Track, while a number of athletes will compete at Liberty's Darius Dixon Memorial Invitational. Wrestling travels to Allentown, Pennsylvania for Centennial Conference matches against McDaniel and Ursinus. Men's and women's swimming have rescheduled their home meet against VMI for Saturday afternoon. And the basketball teams head to Greensboro for a Saturday ODAC doubleheader against Guilford. The men's game tips off at 2, and the women take on the Quakers at 4:30. For W&L Sports Weekly, I'm Jeremy Franklin. Thanks for watching.